Hey guys, it's Stacia and welcome back to my channel. So today we will be reviewing and discussing the 12 and 12 challenge. If you don't know what that is, it's basically 12 recommendations from 12 friends that you read over the course of 12 months. So I did it in 2021 and we're gonna go over those 12 books, and then we're also going to discuss my picks for 2022. You could do this any way you want. Some people just throw a box out there and they're like, give me any suggestion and I'll do it. What I usually do is I actually send pictures or post pictures of my physical TBR and I make them choose from that because it helps me go through the books that I physically own. And yeah, so last year I had 12 books from 12 friends and I gave them each a month. So we're gonna go through those first, and then after we go through those, I'm going to show you guys the 12 picks that I have for 2022. I'm super excited. So let's go ahead and start with 2021. In January, my pick was Divergent. I gave this 5 stars. I really enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. I have not continued the series yet, but I do want to put it on like my 2022 goals to finish this series, because this is, I think, the only series on my shelf that I own all of them and have not read them all. So that was my first. February, I had The Book Thief, which I also gave 5 stars. This one is probably the first book in a while or ever that actually made me like tear up. It was so sad, but it was so good. So I highly recommend. Then I read The House in the Cerulean Sea, which I also gave 5 stars. The only downfall of this book is that the chapters are incredibly long. So that's sad. But I did it via audiobook and the audiobook was so good. The voices, it's kind of like a full cast situation where each character has a different voice, and it was just so well done and easy to listen to. Then I read All the Light We Cannot See. I ended up giving this, I believe, like 2 stars. I am actually sending this to a friend because after reading it, I've decided to unhaul it. I do not need to hold on to it because I didn't care for it much. My main issues with this book was that I thought it was very messy. The way that the author wrote, it was very jumpy from like character to character, from timeline to timeline. It just got all very confusing that it made me a lot less engaged in really anything that was going on. So I didn't care much for this book, but I know lots of people love it. So it's also the winner of prizes. So I mean, it just wasn't for me. Then I read Where the Crawdads Sing, which I gave 5 stars. I really enjoyed this one. I know that there has been a lot of discussions about the author, but I'm not talking about the author. I'm only talking about the book. I did enjoy the book. I thought it was very well done. I also listened to this via audiobook, which I personally think is the way to go because the author does write in like a southern twang how the character speaks. And I'm not familiar with a lot of like the slang or how to pronounce things, so I thought the audiobook did well for me. Like I said, I gave it 5 stars. I am really looking forward to the movie that's coming out. It was very good. I thought it had a lot to say, and it was also very mysterious. Like, you really don't know what's going on, but our main character was very fun and interesting to follow. Then I read Catching Fire because I read The Hunger Games years ago and never continued with the series. So someone told me to continue the Hunger Games series. I gave Catching Fire 5 stars. I think this is my favorite book of the trilogy. I have not read the prequel, but I thought this one was super engaging. So much was happening, super fast paced. It was just a lot of fun. After reading this, I did continue and finish off the trilogy and read Mockingjay. So this was a success. Next, I read Since You've Been Gone, which was also 5 stars. My main thing that I loved about this is that it surrounds itself around a list of things to do. Like almost a bucket list, but a friend gives another friend a list of things to do. And each chapter surrounds itself on like an object or like a task on the list. So it was very like organized. I was worried that once the story went along, we would kind of stray away from the list a little bit, but the author held true to the list and seen it out to the end, so I really enjoyed that. Then I read The Girl the Sea Gave Back. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. I thought it was tons of fun. This is kind of a sequel to The Sky and the Deep. We get some cameos from characters in that book, so I found it a lot of fun. It's very engaging. The 2 main characters that we follow were both very interesting, although our main girl, her name is Tova, I didn't like her as much as our main guy, and at first you don't really see where the 2 timelines merge, and I feel like it merged a little bit late. So if that had been like expressed probably earlier and then flushed out through to the end, I think I would have enjoyed it more, but still gave it 4 stars, so still very good. Then I read Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine. I gave this book 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I thought our main character, Eleanor, was very interesting. Like, she had a very interesting inner monologue that I really just wanted to follow. I wanted to know what she was doing. My main issue is the ending with this book. I did not enjoy the ending and how things were revealed. I felt like it kind of lost its impact on me when certain things were revealed, so that kind of strayed me away from a 5, but I still did really enjoy it. Then I read Ace of Shades, which I gave 4 stars. I did really enjoy it. I loved our multi-perspective. My main thing with this is that I thought it was going to be more involving of like the sort of like game element. It's kind of like a card game situation, like survival thing going on, and I feel like that didn't really, like, it was introduced a lot and talked about a lot, but we didn't really get to experience it until the end. And even when it did happen at the end, I felt like it was super rushed and we didn't really get a lot of answers as to why things were the way they were. So 4 stars for me, but I did really enjoy it. It is a very interesting world that I do think I would like to dive into again. So I am thinking about picking up the sequel, but we will need. Then I had After You. I gave this 4 stars. I thought it was very interesting. It is a lot different like vibes from the first book, which is Me Before You. This book is a lot more like sad because we're basically following our main character after she loses someone. So it was very slow, I guess you could say, because she's kind of just trying to figure out what she wants to do with her life when a lot of other people are telling her like she needs to do other things. So it was interesting enough, and it was a very quick read, so I did enjoy it. Lastly, I had The Woman in Cabin 10, which I cannot quite give you my thoughts on yet because I have a few days left in the year and I have not finished this book yet, but I have it on audio, so I'm anticipating going through it pretty quick. So stick around on my Goodreads if you would like to see my final thoughts on this one. So that is it. That is all the 12 books that I read for my 12 and 12 picks in the month, or in the year of 2021. As you can see, they were all, or most of them were very successful. A lot of 4 stars and 5 stars. I think only a few of them weren't 4 or 5 stars, so that is very good. So now we will go into the 12 books that are on my list for 2022. The only thing is I have not quite figured out the months I'm going to do them in yet, so these are in no particular order. I just posted on my stories, people gave me recommendations, I took them, and these are the first 12 that came in, or like if there are multiple recommendations of the same book, I also put that in. So I have 12 books here, all that I'm actually very excited for, but yeah, so we're gonna go through them. Like I said, this is in no order. This is not the order I'm going to be reading them in, just because I haven't figured out and sat down and sorted my monthly TBRs yet. But yeah, so the first on that list is One Last Stop. I actually started this last year. I got 35 pages in and then I stopped reading it because it wasn't really all that engaging to me at first, but I think I just wasn't in the mood for it. I believe this book follows 2 characters, one who is like stuck on a train, like time traveling sort of thing, and then our main character, like they meet on the train, and I think one of our characters are stuck, something like that. I'm not sure, but that's this. This is gonna be one pick. The next one I have on my list is the Kiss Quotient. I'm not sure what this is about. I heard great things. I know that it's supposed to be really cute and super fun, but I honestly could not tell you an accurate synopsis of the book. So there's this. And then we have Sad Girls, which I've owned for so long, but I have not read. But basically, I bought this book because the author, Langley, actually does poetry. And I have like all of her poetry books, and I really enjoy her poetry. So when she came out with like a full novel like years ago, I believe this came out in like 2018. Yeah, this came out in 2017. So I bought it years ago, but when someone recommended it, I was like, I need to put it on the list. It's been sitting there for ages. I love her writing, so I don't know what it's about, but we'll figure it out together. Then I have The Silent Patient. I read the author's newest book, The Maidens, and absolutely loved it. I know Rylan really loves this book, so I am very much looking forward to reading this book. I love his writing style. He has very engaging, I believe. This is about a woman who kills her husband, and then when she's in like the psychiatric ward, she like refuses to talk or something like that. I believe that's what it's about. So excited for this. Next I have The Inheritance Games, and so many people have been raging about this book, so I am very excited to get to it. I believe this follows a character who, you know, I'm not really sure. I've heard that this gives off the same vibes as Knives Out, which is like a character gets an inheritance from like a wealthy family, but she's not actually like technically in the family, something like that. So I'm excited. I heard it's super fast paced, super easy to read, so I'm excited. Next we have No Exit. This I've only heard good things about, so I'm so excited to get to this. But this basically, I believe, follows a person where she is at like a rest stop or something like that, a convenience store, and she sees a person in the trunk of a car trapped in a cage, and I think it just goes from there. I heard it's super fast paced, super easy to read. It's also in like the middle of like a snowstorm or something, so that just makes it like more intense. So looking forward to this one. Next we have The Immortalist, and I have no idea what this book is about. Don't even recall on when I got this book, but it was recommended, so I am excited. Yeah, so I mean, the tagline says, if you knew the date of your death, how would you live your life? So that alone is already very engaging. It looks like they're short chapters. So the reviews I have seen of this have been like good, but I haven't seen it talked about enough to know whether or not I'll like it. But I'm excited nonetheless. Next I have As Good as Dead, and this is the last book in the trilogy A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and I absolutely loved the first books, so I'm very excited for the last book. I'm not sure what exactly this follows, but like I said, I love the first two, so I'm very excited to get into this one. Next we have Take a Hint, Dani Brown. This is the second in the Brown Sisters trilogy. The first one is Get a Life, Chloe Brown, which I really enjoyed. I know that the second one, Dani Brown, is actually a lot of people's favorites, so I am excited to get to this. I believe this has fake dating, which I love, so excited. Next we have The Ballerinas, which I'm not sure what it's about much, but I have been seeing it around a lot and it has been like good reviews, so I am excited to get to it. It has been like recommended a lot, so hopefully I love it. Then we have Dead to Her by Sarah Pinbrow. I actually picked this up one day on a whim. I was just out and seen it and just picked it up, mainly because I read the author's other book, Behind Her Eyes, and absolutely ate it up. So I am very excited to see where this goes. I believe this is like more of a domestic situation, like a domestic thriller, but I could be wrong. Yeah, marriage can be murder. Something old, something new, something you can never ever undo. So I'm excited. I love domestic thrillers, and Sarah Pinbrow has such a great way of writing that captivates the reader. So very excited. And lastly, I have Aurora's End, and this is the third and final book in the Aurora cycle. The first one is Aurora Rising? I think the first one is called Aurora Rising. I could be absolutely wrong though. Yeah, so it goes Aurora Rising, Aurora Burning, and then this is the last one, Aurora's End. I really enjoy this author duo, Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I read their other series, The Illuminate Files, and I love the first two books of this series, so I am very much looking forward to how it will end. The second book kind of ended on a cliffhanger, so I am very eager to jump into this one and see where it all goes, wrap it all up, see what happens. So that's it. Those are the 12 books that are on my 12 and 12 challenge of 2022. I'm very much looking forward to a lot of them. I think all of these are books that I'm highly anticipating. So yeah, that's exciting. So that's basically all I have to talk about. If you read any of these or have any thoughts or feelings, just let me know. I would love to chat. But that is all from me. If you're participating in the challenge or you need any recommendations, just hop over to my Instagram. You can DM me. I swear I'm nice. Like, I love talking to you guys. So that's all from me for today. You can like, comment, and subscribe down below if you would like. All of my socials to follow me anywhere else are in the description as always. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!